I will add that competitive is the key word here. $6 million sounds like a lot for a single person, but as you can see, there are quite a few people interested in this. So it will be a very competitive process, and I'll tie into that question in the chat about an application or a presentation. Those are a presentation is an option. We will likely do that. So we will have our review committee, and then they will decide if that gets narrowed down to a few high scoring applications to present to decide. And this might have been addressed already, but I'll go ahead and say it again, that you may ask for as much as you want to, as long as you're in our maximum ask. You may be offered an award that is much less than your ask, and you have the opportunity to turn that down or accept. So if you ask for the million and shoot for the stars, our committee may decide you have a great project, but we need to distribute that to make a bigger impact, and you may only get $500,000. And then at that point, you would be allowed to deny or accept that.
And speaking on that, we did have a question. So is the infrastructure grant, is the minimum 100,000? Can you not ask for less than 100,000?
It is, the minimum is 100,000.
Okay, thank you. Will the USDA funding be split between these two different program options?
As far as split, I don't think that we have a definite that 60% is going to fund equipment and 40 for infrastructure. There will be a split in there. I think that once we get in to our applications and see kind of where they fall of the percentage of applications in equipment versus infrastructure, also kind of the impacts that they are going to have, I think. But yes, we will have some type of a split, but it probably won't be a defined 60-40, 70-30 type of a split though.
Jenna's question in the chat about local and regional definition. This does not necessarily follow like LFS and LFPA if you are participating in that program. As far as local and regional, this is because this is state only. They will be looking at projects that have the economic impact in the state. Companies must be processing or producing in the state. So we don't really have that flexibility like the LFS and LFPA program.
I believe we're caught up in questions in the chat.
Okay, well, with that, I am going to go back to sharing my screen and get into what probably most everybody is interested in. And we are going to start with the equipment only template. So
I'll jump in really quick, Jason, and say, if this kind of definition is not what you're looking for today, we thank you for joining us. And if you came in the middle and missed some of that, we're always happy to answer the questions. And again, Jason is your technical advisor. If you are interested in what all of these lines mean, we will try to address some examples. But if you want to, you can always put them in the chat, but we will take questions on each application. There's two, after Jason goes through every one of them. So we won't stop in the middle usually to answer questions unless it's just super pertinent. Jason feels like it, so he'll roll on through the application. But again, if you have to leave us to go do your daily life, your technical assistance is Jason. Make sure you have his information.
All right, thank you. So here is the template. Hopefully everybody has been able to get that downloaded. We do apologize for all of the headaches and technical problems that we were having at the onset of us rolling this out. With this being a dynamic form, it caused our website folks a little bit of an issue I was not able to catch it because I already had it downloaded and it was opening up fine on my computer whenever I checked it. So again, apologize to those. If you are still having issues, I recommend using Google Chrome to try and open that up and get things downloaded. I think it has worked better with Chrome than it has some of the others. But so as you can see here, the first portion of the application is just looking at kind of the applicant information. So basically, this needs to be your business name. Here is that the UEI number that we've spoken about. You would just kind of click in the box here and just start typing your information in. Physical address is pretty self-explanatory. So the primary point of contact, that needs to be the person who is going to be responsible for answering any questions, submitting the application. Whenever if I have a question and I need to call and talk to somebody, that's who we need to have listed here in that primary point of contact. Here is that distressed communities index. Let me click on that and see, are you guys, did it go to the distressed communities or are you still seeing? Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and then. So whenever you click on that link, here is the web page that it will come to, and it'll have this very colorful full map here. And so what you would need to do is, like we said, use the county that the project is located in. And so I'm just going to go and put in, if I can do this. So this is my county. Well, that did it for the. So if you can see here, I will look at this. You can see that for the county, it shows a distressed index score of 83. And so what you would look at there, you would just get that score and would type it in, and that's what you would input in the actual application. So that is a little easier than what some of the other applications whenever you're having to go. So you would just type in your county and put 83 in that area. The next section is kind of asking, what category do you fall in? Are you a producer? Are you nonprofit? Are you local government, tribal government? Where do you fit in? And so you would just click that box and you're on to the next. We do need a title. So gotta get a little creative and tell us what is the title of your project. The executive summary, as you can see here, it's 250 words or less. That basically in this, there's 3 different things that you really need to address. You need to basically put, who is the name of the application, kind of what is the project purpose, and a kind of the description. So let's just say that how kind of a good example here of like how the name of your business is Piper's Pepper Patch, and what you were wanting to then do is put in a washing, packing, and a roaster to then be able to take and roast the peppers and then have those ready for retail sales. So basically you'd have to have, put your name, the premise of what the project and how what it's going to fulfill. think of this as we utilize this, USDA utilized this as a kind of a brief overview or synopsis of what the project was. So if we were going to do a press release of tell me about it in real short, that is the information that you're going to put in that executive summary. And then, so what is the operation that that is applying? Are you a processor, aggregator, a distributor, value-added production, or other? So you would click in there, and then so the type of agricultural food products processed with the equipment. So, this is basically you could just put like, this is like number 1, number 2, number 3, and then if you were going to put in a washing station, you would just type a washing station or a packing table, and if you need to add more, it's easy. You just click that button there, or to remove a row. So though we're there, kind of the scope of work. These are pretty self-explanatory. Whenever you look at those, you just kind of describe, what is your current business? If you're already in an existing operation, and then you're able to type in these boxes, and if you type 5 paragraphs, they will continue to expand and show your answers. So we can all kind of see kind of what the different questions that are there. Pardon me. This next one, estimate the number of local and regional producers impacted. So if it's just it's Piper's Pepper Patch and you're putting that in to take care of your own product, then that's just going to be easy. That's a 1. If you're putting in some type of a cold storage that you're going to then be working with 20 different farmers or a co-packer or something, then there's where you would change and put your number of people impacted. And then, does this project directly benefit any of these areas? If it's all or none or 1, just click all of those that apply. This does not really have any impact on the rubric or scoring. This is just a lot of things that USDA is going to be able to like to see, and they utilize this in a lot of their numbers of being able to show how this money has impacted different sectors and all in some of their reports. Here's one to look at under the expected the performance measures. So compared to some of the other grant that I oversee for on the federal grants, this is really nice and I guess small. There's only 2 options. There's not a lot of choices here. So with this being only a kind of equipment only. So if you are purchasing equipment and you're going to purchase 1 piece of equipment or 2 pieces of equipment, here you would just end up putting 2 in that category. If there's not any type of aggregation, click the not available square. So and if there's nothing in outcome 3 that you think fits, click and do the not available. This is going to be one that you definitely need 1 answered in either outcome 2 or in outcome 3. It probably would be best to maybe have 1 in both of those, but I'll tell you, don't go crazy and just have something in every one of these boxes. I'll repeat that again on the infrastructure, that we have a lot more options, because if you put something down here, then next year whenever it comes time to do your annual report to give us a project or an update on your project, you will need to answer and kind of give updates and kind of some solid information on all the information that you provided here. So that's why I would say don't go crazy and click and provide information for every one of those unless it's something that is just an absolute definite that you know you're going to get done and falls in, then you can do that. But the more that you put in here or of these 3.2, 3.3, 3.4, 3.5, the more of those you'll have to answer for those in your annual reports. Rolling on down in the application is our budget narrative. With this just being equipment only, it's pretty nice and neat and concise. Here is where you're going to list. So here is like the number of, if you're going to say buy two of your like 2 roasters, and then that there is a purchase price of $5,000 a piece, then that would be actually, that would show that there is $10,000 of what your funds would be requested. So this would be the number of items that you're going to be purchasing, the type of what the item is under that kind of what is the purchase price, and when do you anticipate on acquiring that piece of equipment. Once you've completed that, then down here in the justifications, that is where you're going to need to provide, pardon me, kind of a justification. Why is this needed, and what type of activities will this equipment be helping do? As you can see here in the bold, you must submit documentation of the cost of each piece of equipment and kind of where it is. And so that is one. And I would also encourage you, as going back to our previous comments, of it may be October of 24 before we start being able or start spending money. You need to make sure that the quote and price you get today will be honored at that point. If they tell you that it's $5,000 today, and whenever October rolls around, if it's $5,500, we're only going to be able to pay the $5,000. So we're not going to be able to increase that to more because due to inflation or whatever it may be. But those need to be in place. If there is like a delivery charge, we can cover the delivery as long as that is put in your initial quote. If you leave that off, then that's going to be your responsibility to cover the delivery. So that is a quick run through on the equipment only application. Let me jump over to the infrastructure. It is a lot along the same lines as what we just looked at. The applicant information is the same. The primary point of contact and all, we've got that distressed communities index that is as the same. Also, type of applicant, where do you fall, kind of project title. With this, we do have 2 years to be able to get the project completed. So they kind of want an estimated the start date and end date that you think that it will take to get your project started and completed. Again, an executive summary, just kind of a overview of what if you were trying to explain this to somebody, kind of a brief short synopsis of what this project is going to entail and the reasoning for it. You would need that. here is something that is a little bit different. Is kind of the project purpose. So so as you can see, it may include more than one of these, but it does need to require at least one of these. So you would need to find here where, is it for construction of a new facility, or, increasing storage space, including cold storage? You would just click that box right there. So, and then here's, provide specific issues and problems that this project will address. This is kind of the, to me, the nuts and bolts of why should we approve your project for funding. So you need to, I tell people to be as descriptive as possible whenever you're telling about what you do, what you want to do, and how it's going to be a benefit to them. Because whenever you're looking at, if we have 50 applications, and how are you going to set yourself apart from those other applicants that a reviewer is looking for whenever everybody is asking for money? So give them enough information to be able to make educated decisions on. With this, you are required to provide some objectives. What are the objectives of your project? So you would just kind of objective one and put, here's what the description of your objective is. If you need to add more lines, you're more than welcome to add more lines to that. The number of beneficiaries. So how many people are going to benefit from this project? That is one that it's going to just kind of be an estimate of how many people are going to benefit from this. You could look at, if you're a co-packer, you're benefiting both the individual company and individuals involved with that, but you're also helping the consumers in terms of being able to provide and get more products out to consumers. Or if you're farmers that are growing in Oklahoma, I would say Oklahoma farmers that are growing the raw products for that. Again, here's that section of, does this project directly benefit, an underserved farmer or rancher or newer beginning farmer? So other support from federal or state programs. So we've talked about this, that, or it's in some of our information, that you cannot apply for another federal or state program for the same exact project. I know that there are some other grant funds that are out there or will be coming available soon, dealing with middle of the supply chain. So you can apply for both of those. It's just one that I'll use my washing and packing station for example. If you were going to apply for our RFSI funds and put in for a packing table or a washing table, then you would not be able to apply for that same thing under an additional grant. So this has to be the only grant program that you apply for with this specific project or funding request. So your external project support, that is basically, who is going to kind of benefit, who supports this. Is it, if you are looking at putting in a type of a bakery that you're going to be utilizing Oklahoma raised wheat. Some of your beneficiary or kind of your external support could be, that could be the Oklahoma Wheat Commission or Oklahoma Wheat Growers Association, or it could be the Noble County Farm Bureau, or whoever it may. I mean, those are just kind of groups of individuals that are stakeholders that could benefit from this project. Here you can see we have under the performance measures, we have more of those that are available under the infrastructure grant than what we do under the equipment only, but still kind of look at those. If you say only answer one of the 11 here, make sure that you click the not available or NA or applicable under the other 10 that are there. Still would probably recommend, this is looking at capacity, and this outcome 3 is looking at economics. So you probably may want to try and have one in both of those categories, just looking at how is it going to impact economics and then also capacity. But it may not where you might just have one. Here is the budget narrative. We're getting into the matching funds here that we talked about with the different areas. So if you think or you qualify as a woman-owned small business, you could click that, and that right there checks the box that you are certifying that you are eligible for the 25% reduced match cost. And as I said earlier, if it's a husband and wife that own a business and you're both partners, we're not going to be coming out and looking to make sure that your wife owns 51% and you own the husband owns 49%. So that is one that whatever you feel comfortable of checking those boxes, you feel free to do that. Here is their budget. As you can see, there's different categories of personnel, fringe, travel, equipment, supplies, construction, contractual, and other. So you would kind of come down here if you are going to be trying to pay any type of personnel. This would have to be for new activities. You would not be able to use RFSI funding to pay. If I was just a worker there at your operation, and I've been a worker there for 5 years or a year, and it could not pay for replace the salary that you have been paying me. But if it was something that you've had to hire somebody new to either install or to run a piece of equipment, then at that point you would be able to kind of put the person's name and title, kind of the level of effort. Are they going to be 100% doing this, or is it kind of 25% of their time? So, and then if you're requesting funds, say that you're doing personnel as part of your match. So then you would put your match, the value of that here, and then here in the drop down, you could show that you were either going to be, it would be match as either cash, in kind, or it would be NA. So if there's no match involved, then it would be under that. Here, it kind of talks about you're just going to have to give some justifications and descriptions of what the person's job responsibilities are, and why we need to use grant funding to cover that. Travel, if you're having to travel around to go to different activities, or travel is involved, here be sure to make sure you check that this box here under equipment, a lot of the same as what we talked about in the equipment only one. Supplies, construction, here you can kind of see where, all of these different things are going to fall in. I'm trying to think down here in the indirect would be in this category. So if you are showing, as you can see here, that it talks about the if an applicant has a NICRA that is required, you have to be able to provide that. If not, 10% of the overall request is something that you would be able to request as indirect cost. If you don't want to use all of that, if you don't want to use any of it, if you don't want to use any of the 10% indirect cost and put all of that towards your match, then you have the ability to do so in that. So that's kind of a quick run through of that template for both the infrastructure and the equipment only grants. I guess we can open it up for any questions that people may have.
We do have a couple in the chat. What is considered a delivery vehicle?
A delivery vehicle would have to be one that is it would have to be like a refrigerated vehicle, probably like a box van. I don't know if that would work, or that, but just like a truck itself is not going to qualify as a delivery vehicle.
And I'm sure this is talking about employees, but if they had an employee that was part-time, but as a result of the new equipment, they can now be full-time, would that count?
That would count. I mean, that would count. What we would be able to do is cover the, I'm just going to say that they worked, the addition of them going from part-time to full-time, we could cover that portion of the salary. We could not cover the 100% of that salary just because they were already employed.
Okay, we have a question. Basically adding on to an existing facility, would that be counted as new construction or just to add on for our value added products?
I mean, that if you are doing construction, that would be, I mean, you're having to do new construction to a facility.
But that would technically be considered expansion,
It
right?
would be, yes.
Not brand new construction.
Yeah,
so I think, yeah, USDA, when they say new construction, I believe Jason can correct me, but I believe they're talking about a completely new facility. So expanding an existing facility would be what you're talking about, I believe.
Okay, Jenna asked, can we use some contract funds for a feasibility study?
Yes. That was, I think, and hang on, let me get my notes open here. That analyzing potential facility upgrades and changes that that would be something that could fall underneath that.
Okay. And in reference to the other question, could the existing salary be used as the match if you're taking that person from part-time to full-time?
I mean, it cannot be, and then the first half of it couldn't be used as match if we're covering the second half. I mean, if you are bringing them on full time and are not, say, asking grant funds to cover it, then that could be used as all of it, or that portion of it could be used as match. But we cannot use an employee that was already hired and cover half of their salary as match and half of it as grant funds. That would not be allowable.
Okay, as far as where the recorded webinar will be housed, didn't we say ODAF YouTube page?
No, we would probably have a link. I mean, it'll probably be on ODAF YouTube
That
just
page.
with the
Okay.
link, but we'll probably, I'm hopefully can get with Lee, and that would be one more link that we add to the RFSI webpage. So what we visited earlier, where everybody's kind of gone, that would be something just because that's where kind of everybody's needs to go to that page.
And if my internet will cooperate, I'll try to have that done by the end of today. Okay, could you define fringe benefits, please?
Okay, fringe benefits is essentially so you are as an employer, you pay generally are paying a salary, and then there's any type of insurance or oh, Mary Ruth, what else falls under fringe? I mean, it's basically kind of insurance or any
Anything
additional.
you pay as an employee's salary package that isn't their either hourly wage or their cash salary. So all those other things that appear on a paycheck that aren't their either annual or hourly salary. Cash.
The delivery vehicle. Asked if it had to be refrigerated or if it could just be a delivery cargo van.
Does not have to be refrigerated, correct, Jason?
I don't think it does, but I mean, it's going to be, I mean, it'd have to be probably a cargo. I mean, it's just one that it says it will not fund a general purpose vehicle.
Yep, a Dodge Dually, even if that's pulling a trailer that you're distributing out of, is not going to be eligible. The trailer, perhaps, if you could prove that you were using that and it had specific things, I would say a box, any delivery vehicle needs to have very specific things that are used for the delivery of the product you are planning on. So if that is a value added product, it maybe has shelves to keep glass products safe, or if it is produce that doesn't need to be refrigerated for some reason, it needs to have pallet jack capability or something. Vehicles are really tough. It's a tough question. We have never allowed those in any of our grant programs. So we believe that everybody's going to be tough on vehicles, not just us, but USDA as well. So while refrigeration trucks are easy to say yes to, anything else, you're going to have to be very specific on why it is not a general purpose vehicle.
We're caught up in the chat.
All right, other questions?
Well, I think that, I mean, that was kind of all that we had here. I know we've covered a lot, and I think you guys have stayed with us. We apologize if we wanted to. This was like drinking out of a fire hydrant here of a lot of information to take in. So we appreciate a lot of great questions. I guess I can open up if you're not a good typer and did not want to type in the chat and would rather just take yourself off mute and ask a question. We can, if anybody wants to do that or needs to do that, we can do that at this time. If not, I definitely want to be cognizant of everybody's time. I mean, it's the sun is starting to peek through here at my house, and sure, it's still nice and cold outside, but everybody can get on with the rest of their day if there's no other questions. And like we said, we will get this up as quickly as we can to the website, or if you have questions, feel free, email or call. Be patient. It's kind of one of those, the last 2 days I've been on one phone call and received 2 voicemails while I'm on that call. So it's I will get you called back. Just ask that you have a little patience, and we'll get the questions answered. February 23rd again is the deadline. So we've got some time to get this, but it will be here before we know it. So I guess thanks everybody, and if no other questions, I think we're done.